You guys remember that in the last video, it ended with our dear Li Ping and his demon queen entering the dungeon. However, there was this big yellow lizard eye, giving the kids a stare. In the next scene, we see the sneaky horse killing a bunch of creatures. He asks the wives if they're managing, but the poor things are having difficulties. It's not easy. While our kid is hiding behind the bulky one there, he asks, "Is Elizabeth safe?" She says his acting is ridiculous. The little magic light thing says, "It's all your fault. Look at the path you made us take. It's full of monsters." Elizabeth, who took the potion of deliciousness because she's getting thicker with each chapter, says, "The more magic in a place, the more creatures." That's basic, didn't you know? The little magic thing says she knew. She's just angry because Elizabeth's just standing there, doing nothing. Elizabeth says she's standing there because the little magic thing said she'd handle everything, so handle it. The night horse says, "Glee, calm down," looks at Elizabeth and says, "It's an honor to escort her." Now the mage is even angrier. "This cursed one is embarrassing me and even seduced my master." Then the archer asks, "Master, why don't we rest a bit? The battle was very long." However, Elizabeth says, "No one here will rest. This queen doesn't have time to waste with you." The assassin wife says, "If you're so good, why don't you continue alone then?" Obviously, everyone agrees with that. The horse says, "Miss Elizabeth, please listen to me. It's better if everyone rests and stays together in this place. Let's at least drink some elven potions to recover our stats." Li Ping gets curious. "Elven potion?" Elizabeth stares at him and asks, "What, you want to drink this?" He replies, "I've never drunk it. I wanted to try, you know? I don't know what it tastes like. Maybe it will inspire me to create different things." Elizabeth thinks, this damn kid is so used to eating good stuff that now he wants to eat garbage. But okay. Around the campfire, the little magic thing is saying, "Wow, this elven potion is so good." The buffed one next to her says it's good indeed, but she's more concerned about how long it will take to find the treasure. Julia, who is the elven wife, says, "This one is my special potion," already going towards Elizabeth. "You can increase any kind of status just by drinking it. If you're so powerful, you don't even need it, do you?" The knight tells her, "Julia, don't be so rude to her." She apologizes there and throws a little potion. The queen takes it without caring much and throws it into our protagonist's hand. He asks, Elizabeth, don't you want it?" "I'll drink it then." Already drank it all. However, our kid immediately throws up. "Damn, the taste of grass is so strong in this. You can't drink this. Do you want it for yourself, Annie?" Annie says, "Sorry, Li Ping, I haven't used much magical power, so I don't need it." Obviously Julia didn't like that and says it was a waste to give such a good potion to idiots like you. Elizabeth then throws it on the ground saying, "Alright then, I'll spend this on you." Now Elfinia got angry shouting, "Wait, what did you do with my potion?" Elizabeth is very calm staring and says, "What do you think I did?" Li Ping goes to the backpack and says, "Calm down, no fighting. Guys, I have something for everyone. Let me find it, hold on." He then shows some bananas and says, "I've been wanting to share these with you since then. Finally, I have the chance, here you go." Already giving it to the knight. Everyone takes it, sort of thanking, and he hands an apple to Annie. She gets all emotional receiving something. Li Ping gets scared. "Why are you crying, Annie?" "It's just an apple." Annie asks if she can take it home. The orphanage folks haven't had fresh fruit for a long time. Li Ping says he understands, of course. He then goes to get more so she can take it back for everyone to eat. But Glee and Julia throw away and squash the banana, saying that doesn't compare to an elven potion. The knight says he'll only eat it to fill his stomach. When they find the treasure, he'll buy something tastier. The strong and the assassin decide to take a bite with him. The assassin seems to be a professional at handling bananas because she was drooling and salivating before biting. Trying to melt the banana in your mouth? At that moment, the three feel something, and they end up in a sort of tropical paradise with a parrot there saying, "Banana." In front of them, what seems to be some crickets singing say, let's dance samba." Dance a samba to remove any fatigue and frustration. They start dancing there unintentionally, and this assassin kills with blades and curves. Even the knight is all graceful. "Follow me, 1, 2, 3. The three keep dancing there, the creatures singing. And the assassin squeezed the banana too hard and it exploded. The force was such that its contents ended up covering a good part of her outer skin layer. Did I perhaps enter the wrong site? They keep dancing like crazy in the illusion. But back in the cave, they're all going crazy too. The knight is acting like an idiot. Glee and Julia are confused. "Master, what are you doing?" Suddenly the knight realizes that he's leveling up a lot. The assassin and the muscle mommy, who are already lower level, gained even more levels by swallowing the protagonist's banana. Our hero claps. Wow, what an amazing performance, loved it. Truly, the culture of other countries is extremely interesting. Seeing a centaur enjoying this dance was incredible. The queen, as always, interprets everything differently. Li Ping, he knows very well that they were going to die a bit further. That's why he wanted to level up to continue with this little theater. He's really cruel. The elf Julia gets curious. What's happening, master? Why did your level go up so much? Annie tells her. It's because they ate Li Ping's banana. Julia looks angrily to the side. What nonsense are you talking about? As if these bananas were bathed in holy water? But the muscle mommy says, Julia, you have no idea. This banana made me advance straight to a demonic 2-star level. The assassin is confused too. After she drooled and smeared the banana, she advanced straight to the realm of demonic sovereignty. Was there some enchantment in it? Even the knight is confused. I was already strong, but this made me advance 3 stages directly? It's unbelievable. He looks at our kid and asks, Li Ping, what's the origin of this banana? He's confused. I don't know. The knight says, what's the problem? You can't tell? Li Ping says, I don't know what to say. It's just a regular banana. There's nothing special about it. The knight says, I can tell it's a hybrid harvest. Li Ping explains, yes, it's a hybrid harvest. The process is all natural and organic. It's time for 2 more gluttons to eat Li Ping's banana. They go slowly. However, just as the 2 are about to touch lips, the banana rots in her hand. The elf says, this is rotten. What is this? Annie says, it's because of synchronization. Elizabeth says, girl with glasses, you know quite a lot, huh? And responds, saying that Elizabeth is very kind, that she only learned from books. The knight asks, synchronization, or what do you mean by that? And explains to him, I read in a book that some special items and treasures need certain special conditions to provide the effect. Perhaps Li Ping's banana had to be eaten by 3 people at the same time to produce the effect. Glee points to Elizabeth and says, stop pretending. Can't you see she's eating alone there? And apologizes, she can't understand properly. But she's thinking. The condition of a treasure can sometimes be ignored if the person using it is much stronger than it. Elizabeth stares at her and says, don't look at me with those eyes, and apologizes. But her eyes are a little red. What's that? Angry, Jelia says. Oh, maybe it's because of the accumulation of my elven potion that produced this effect, that's it. The knight then asks Li Ping for another fruit. And Jelia is angry. Stop believing in this nonsense, master. But our protagonist is happy, for him, who has been cultivating for so long. Sharing the fruits is the greatest pleasure. But not in Elizabeth's case, who already snatches everything from his hand saying, no, I'll eat this later. Already throwing it over her shoulder, let's go. You've already rested and the journey has to end. Li Ping feels embarrassed and apologizes, saying he'll give them more when he has the chance. The knight then tells the 2 to go ahead. He'll catch up with them later with the wives. Li Ping says, hey, don't you want to come along? But Elizabeth interrupts, saying, let's go already, Li Ping. Li Ping then says to everyone, see you later, bye. The drooling and greedy assassin has a wicked little plan. Master, should we steal that backpack from them? The muscle mommy also says, maybe they have something even better hidden there. Look at the greedy knight, also enjoying the big banana, saying, no rush. It's not the right time yet. Looking at Elizabeth, he thinks, the way she carries that treasure shows she doesn't care about it. Someone from a remote tribe wouldn't act like that. He licks his lips thinking. Recently, one of the 4 major powers in the kingdom is offering a reward for information about the lost princess. Maybe she's right in front of me? Brothers, I thought he was just going to take the information and sell it, but his plan is to make her his woman. Oh my warrior, he wants to climb the ranks of the aristocratic empire in this way and gain even more of these delicious fruits. Friend, give up, man. But taking something from his back, he says, I'm going to use this to completely conquer you. Laughing like a psychopath, the 4 wives are in love, saying there's an incredible pheromone emanating from the master. Maybe they need to satisfy him even more. Look how naughty he has some item to have so many women. But in the background, the labyrinth has a bunch of eyes staring down the path. And the leader of the Shadow Wolves is watching, but he sees our people coming and runs away. Li Ping asks the queen, Elizabeth, this labyrinth is getting darker and darker. Is the exit really here? Elizabeth says, I've already explained to you, the labyrinth is just an appearance. We're already getting there. We then see something coming from the sky, taking a peek at them, and warns Li Ping, something is getting close. Suddenly, a beam of light comes out and something happens. Li Ping is there coughing. When they look ahead, the knight appears saying, "Oh, sorry for making you wait." The wives seem to be all under some kind of spell, all sweaty and red. He comes all seductive saying, "I was a little late, forgive me, Miss Elizabeth. Can I serve you for the rest of my life? You can even sit on my back if you want." She just interrupts him saying, "Get out of my way, you're not even qualified to be my mount." Elf Julia gets angry, "You're arrogant, shameless woman, how do you treat my head cut off?" From one moment to the next the elf died. Everyone's pupils shrink in shock. Some rocks start falling from the ceiling. When they look up there are some insects coming down. Li Ping asks, "What's this?" From the sky. What's coming is a dragonfly with Jelia's head already being swallowed. The creature stomps on the wall, then goes to bite Elizabeth, who just looks and the creature explodes in front of her, and is crying scared. Li Ping takes the opportunity to run and cling to the voluptuous queen. "You devil, look where he's going with his face," saying, "It's a matter of life and death. Elizabeth, what are we going to do now?" Elizabeth takes a little look and thinks, is he trying to test human nature? Letting the selfish and arrogant ones die first by destroying themselves? Apparently that's it. The dragon fleas are flying back and forth. The muscle mommy grabs the carriage as defense, and Glee conjures a protection spell. Li Ping asks, "And what are we going to do here?" The knight says, "I believe you'll find a way out on your own." His plan is to finally understand Elizabeth's strength, especially because if she does nothing, her servant will die. The muscle mommy stares at them and says, "Who cares about you? Cooperation is over here." Confident, Glee says, "Stay outside of our magic and die." But she's done too, her head flies off. The dragonflies keep attacking. The assassin there is trying to survive and the knight is even killing some. Meanwhile, our Li Ping is hiding quietly. The knight uses a slash and thunder lightning cuts an insect right in the middle. And muscle mommy uses a shield attack managing to kill one too. Even the assassin is managing to use her own techniques to kill. These three seem to be alive because of the banana they swallowed whole. However, the assassin is lying on the ground thinking, "There's no way we can kill these creatures, it seems endless. At this rate, we'll die from exhaustion." One is coming to take a big bite at her head, but the knight manages to save her. The creature falls all destroyed on the ground, but there are still several flying around. Elizabeth asks Li Ping, "Do you see how they really are? Do you still want to play this adventure game?" Li Ping shows that he is innocent but not a fool. He tells her, "Forget it. It's time to go separate ways." Thinking, this world outside is truly unpredictable. Maybe staying on my farm in the village is the best thing to do. Elizabeth smiles. Look at how he acts. First, he made them suffer. Then he determined if they had any value to deserve to be saved. And now this is the third step, abandoning them here. She looks at him and says, "Get ready to leave." He's confused. "Leave? Have we arrived already?" She says it's just ahead and they start going. Then a creature comes to attack them. Button takes a look and her little bear comes out punching and explodes the creature. Suddenly her little bear turns back into just a bunny. And she's confused. "Hey, what happened?" Li Ping turns around. "Hey Anne, come on," she says. "Oh okay." Elizabeth touches the wall forming some waves and says an incantation that opens the way. In front of them, a giant gate appears. Li Ping says, "Wow. So the exit is this giant door that starts to open with a golden light." Elizabeth goes ahead telling them to come quickly. From afar, the knight looks back and our Li Ping also looks at him, and he says to Anne, "Let's go." And with that they're gone. The knight who was facing the creatures until now says, "Come on my back and let's try to escape." The two look at him and the knight is going crazy saying, "Damn, do they think they can just abandon us here like this?" But apparently, the door has already closed. Inside, there's an immense amount of treasure. This room is on a floating island. The knight's wives manage to enter. Li Ping is celebrating happily there with Anne. At that moment, the knight arrives and throws him aside. The muscle mommy does the same to Anne. He pauses for a moment there, staring and smiling like a psychopath, thinking, the treasure really exists, the Demon King's nectar. Li Ping says to him, "Now we're on equal footing. I don't want your gratitude, but you don't need to act like this either." The knight looks back and says, "Yes, you helped a lot, by completing the number of members we needed. With gratitude I'll let you die quickly." But then a coin falls and there's a golden eye in the middle of all that treasure. The room starts shaking. A giant hand appears. A golden dragon emerges in the midst of everything, facing everyone. Li Ping, sweating, says, "Elizabeth, there's a dragon there, my daughter, there's a dragon," shaking her, and is trembling. There's something even scarier hiding. Her eyes turn black again as she says, "Master, what do we do now?" Elizabeth just observes this. The dragon lets out a roar towards everyone. The knight tells his wives, "You two buy me time. I'll prepare my strongest attack and kill him with a single blow. They agree, and the dragon gives them a swipe and they go up. They manage to dodge the first blow. The muscle mommy tells the assassin to go ahead and draw his attention. She says, okay, leave it to me. She releases some origami there and uses a Naruto-style clone technique. Then she throws herself at the dragon. Seeing the situation, the knight thinks, now that this giant dragon is the only threat, I don't need to hide anymore. I'll gather all my energy and use my best move. Quick thunder cut, already charging up, getting all electrified. Lolo's clones are using assassination techniques, but nothing's happening. The plan was to use this technique to create a weak point, but it's not working. The muscle mommy says, relax, let me handle this. And she uses an explosive shield transformation, throwing the shield with some torpedoes straight up at the dragon, hitting its leg. She feels confident seeing it hit, thinking it worked. But the big dragon is just staring at her, intact. It raises its paw, she's confused, and then it crushes her. When it raises its paw, there's just her remains all crushed there. The assassin says, Sister Gotcha, what happened? She uses the Shadow Thousand Clones technique. And darn it, to be happy I only needed 2 of these 1,000 in my room. She's confident that even if she can't cause damage, she can distract him. However, the dragon takes a look, flaps its wings, gathers all the coins, creating a sort of golden whirlpool. Her clones are all destroyed, and the tornado starts shooting the coins like bullets in every direction. The coins are flying, almost hitting our guy, but they're not hitting. Elizabeth looks at him and says, are you so calm? But that's expected of you, isn't it? Li Ping is thinking, darn it, I almost died. The dragon keeps spinning. At that moment, and takes a look and activates the dollhouse invocation. But what appears is a giant bear in front of them. Now it's protecting them from the bullets. The assassin tells her clones to protect the master so he doesn't stop the conjuration. She manages to save him and is happy. The dragon takes a look and sends a bullet right in the middle of the forehead. Man, headshot. But at that moment, the knight finally completes his charge. Thunder cut 300%. He goes up saying that not even a spiritual demon could block it. However, when the smoke clears, it only made a slight scratch on the neck and his sword shattered. He looks at the broken sword confused. What's happening? The dragon, once again, takes a look, lashes its tail, and sends him flying, destroying the entire room. Now he looks at our trio. It's the 4-star golden dragon from the demon sect. Li Ping and Elizabeth are standing with their arms crossed. He says, Elizabeth? The poor guy is thinking, the centaur died from a tail lash. I think I'll have to use my trump card, right? Elizabeth looks at him. Okay, what are you going to do now? Li Ping says, you can act now. She's confused. What? Has he already figured it out? I don't know what, but there's a plot twist going on. Li Ping tells her, if you don't do this, I think everyone here will die. Well, he'll die, right? That's why he's scared. Elizabeth angrily says, don't order me in front of other people. She's thinking, he's trying to use my mount to threaten me. I can't believe it. Wylan is saying, the real terror hasn't started yet. I don't think we're getting out of here. At that moment, Elizabeth puts her hand on her head and says, Jinji's bloodline, show me what this kind of magic is about. Anne's eyes activate that effect, and some memories start appearing to her from the orphanage. From when she had dinner with the children to a day when she was sleeping and when she opened her eyes, the woman was staring at her with a sinister smile. Next scene, those evil creatures went to the orphanage to attack everyone. She was about to be captured when suddenly, the bear appeared on her back, and all the creatures were killed. Unfortunately, the orphanage people had already moved on to the next life. Elizabeth realizes that and suppressed these memories with her own power. She extracts some energy from inside her head, saying it's foolishness, falls to the ground saying it's all her fault, that she killed her brothers and sisters. She wants to apologize. Elizabeth is cruel. She looks to the side and says, you are a disgrace to Jinji's bloodline. If you want to escape the prison of regrets, stand up and fight for me, and get serious. Even though she's crying, she gets up, saying that at least this time she wants to save her brother Li Ping. Suddenly she starts floating in the sky, forming a purple energy. Li Ping doesn't understand what's happening. But then she opens her arms and summons puppets. An eagle, a rabbit, a panda, and a snake appear. The dragon comes to claw at everything, but its paw plunges right into the panda's belly, which expands, and when it returns to normal, it's holding the dragon's paw. At that moment, the rabbit is already attacking, beating him up and breaking his neck. Li Ping asks, Elizabeth, what did you do to Anne? Why did she change so much? Elizabeth says she didn't do anything special, just made her accept reality. The rabbit is going up and then is now motivated. Smoke rises, and when everything clears, the little bunny is also clinging to the dragon's paw. Now the two are holding him. The snake then comes and starts wrapping around the dragon, crushing it. The dragon once again flaps its wings to summon that golden tornado. However, this time, the eagle cancels out his tornado with hers. Li Ping, impressed, asks Elizabeth, "What's this Jinji bloodline thing about?" But suddenly he's pulled and thrown to the ground. They took a light cut. The knight appears almost dead, but he stole the fruit backpack and is saying, now. Elizabeth looks, this trash isn't dead yet? Li Ping is shouting in the background, "Hey, give me my backpack back." He with a psychopathic look says, "Now your trump card is in my hand. All these kingdom fruits are mine. Eat the pineapple, eat the orange, eat the grape." Li Ping is confused. "What are you doing, man? Don't you think it's too late to eat now?" However, he swallows everything and starts emanating an aura, saying it's coming. His body begins to mutate, trembolona rolling. He goes crazy, getting mega muscular, saying he's feeling an unprecedented power. And now his level is with a question mark. Staring at his own hand, he thinks, "Finally, with this power, I'm no longer afraid of those old men from the Holy Sword Guild." But the dragon seems to get angry and breathes a golden dragon breath in his direction. When it's about to hit, he disappears and is already next to his head saying, "Stop bothering me!" He uses a thunder kick that makes the dragon stumble and fall to the ground. The centaur then descends and goes right to the middle of the altar to get the so-called Demon King's chalice. Looking at it, he thinks, "If I had this, I can't imagine how strong I'll become." Without hesitation, he swallows it, and his pupils turn red. He once again begins to transform, wings sprouting from his back, and he enters demon form. He says that this sweet Demon King's wine is very good. He is gradually understanding everything, and is there in front, and Li Ping says, "That guy is getting weirder and weirder. Elizabeth, do something, my daughter," and tells him not to worry. She won't let him get near brother Li Ping. She conjures a marionette spell, but the knight has already pierced her chest. Holding her in the air, he says, "First I'll eliminate you, who are a threat." Li Ping is terrified. The centaur throws and on the ground, coming towards them saying that the next one is him. Li Ping completely ignores the centaur and goes to Anne, telling her to hang in there. Elizabeth will save her. The centaur goes to Elizabeth's face and says, "I know you're hiding your strength, but it doesn't matter. I'll give you two choices. You become my woman, take me to your kingdom, and make me inherit everything. Or the second option, I'll have fun with you until there's nothing left, and then I'll sell you to get what I want." Crying, Li Ping tells Elizabeth to kill him, but the centaur looks to the side. "Who allowed you to open your mouth, you servant trash?" He uses an ability to appear instantly in front of him, and crushes him to the ground. An explosion rolls, coins everywhere. The centaur seems to have been hit. When the smoke clears, Li Ping says, "Okay then, I'm tired of pretending. Brothers, will he get serious?" The centaur thrown back is lost and all beaten up, wondering, what happened? Wait, I hit him with all my might, but why does it seem like my attack returned? He looks at Elizabeth and asks, "Is it your doing?" Elizabeth, staring at Li Ping. "He knows very well that not even my magic can destroy his clothes. That's why you forced him to attack you, just for him to be the cause of his own destruction." Li Ping is there, all badass, thinking, they say I'm the hero. But he thinks, phew, it works just the way I imagined. As long as I give Elizabeth a lot of delicious food, she will protect me whenever I need it. As long as I'm useful to her, she won't let me die. No matter how dangerous the situation is, wanting to kill me is the same as wanting to leave her without food. There's no way our boy finds out he's too strong. The work ends on the spot, man. He's going to become a Saitama 2.0, the centaur says, truly unsettling. "You're quite proud, but I only used half of my strength. Woman, you rejected a centaur as powerful as me. You could have had fun, but chose to reject me." Then he charges. "So this is your choice then." Elizabeth remains calm. Midway as the centaur speaks, "I want to see you reflect my next attack." Something is already coming from his left, hitting him hard, slamming him to the ground. Elizabeth looks to the side and asks, "Finally awake?" The centaur is completely shattered on the ground, nothing left of the guy. From the shadows of that place, a golden dragon begins to appear. The centaur realizes that there is the true form of the dragon. What he killed was nothing more than some crumbs of power. He reabsorbs his old dragon body, and Elizabeth says, "Using your tail to pet? I used to play with you like that too." It's the true void dragon, a golden dragon queen from the Demon King's realm of a star. The centaur still doesn't understand. Impossible. I also have the power of a demon king. I can't lose. But he is instantly crushed by the dragon's claw. Lying on the ground, Li Ping is confused. Elizabeth, is this real? Elizabeth says, I think you figured that out a long time ago. This place isn't real. Suddenly they're floating. Elizabeth says, despite magic being your weak point, I don't think this would escape your notice. The dragon speaks some unknown language to Elizabeth, who responds. Then he starts crying, poof, smoke in the air, and turns into a loli. Of course, there had to be one, you damn Chinese. Her name is Amelia, and she's Elizabeth's pet. She cries, is it really you, Queen? I've been waiting for you for so long. Elizabeth tells her, you have arrived in the realm of a demon king, and are still so innocent? I didn't want to come here because I knew it would wake you up, and you would start clinging to me. Amelia, hugging her, says, no, master, you disappeared for 500 years without a word. I miss you so much. We then see Amelia's story. She was born between heaven and earth, and it was Elizabeth with her magical energy who incubated the egg. When she was born, they made a contract, and Elizabeth not only gave her the name Amelia but also created her personality, trained, and played with her. That's why Amelia has a sacred oath to serve her forever. When she grew up, she became Elizabeth's mount, carrying her around the world to face cruel creatures. This is because, to end the wars, Elizabeth decided to dominate the world. Amelia was happy to see her mistress achieve world domination, but she smiled less and less. Amelia knew, the stronger Elizabeth became, the less she could help. And one day out of nowhere, she decided to pull out the sacred sword and disappeared. At the race meeting, Elizabeth's absence is causing problems. Even all the reputation she had is now not serving much. The amount of crime continues to increase. The orc minister says that this is the case in their tribe too. Several are announcing separation, as the only thing that unified everyone was the fear of the queen. The dwarf minister says that maybe it's good for everyone to return to their homelands and take care of the regions until the queen returns. Twyla, who is the minister of the elves, asks Jean, who is the minister of the demons, where's Elizabeth? You were the closest person to her. Was she defeated by the legendary hero? Jean says it's impossible. He has seen her terrifying power. There's no one in this world who can beat that. Everyone there can do as they please. From now on, he will go hunt the Majesty on his own. Her former minion Malfoy says that this is the case too. He'll go after her. Everyone is dismissed. In the end, the ministers separated everything and divided the regions. Amelia wasn't interested in any of this, so she took half a cup of wine and left. She returned to the place where she was found the first time, hoping Elizabeth would return. And then she waited, and waited, and waited, and waited, and now she's there crying. Finally, you've returned, mistress, Elizabeth says. It seems everything went well, right? This long wait taught you meditation, which was a key to reaching the level of Demon King. Amelia continues crying. Mistress Elizabeth, don't leave me like this again, please. Poor thing is thinking. She abandoned me just so I could understand meditation and increase my level. She really does everything for me. Leaping up there trembling says, Hey, Elizabeth, stop dwelling on the past and save Annie already. At that moment, Annie opens her eyes and says, Brother Li Ping, where are we? Li Ping is relieved. Annie, are you okay? She says yes, but she reaches for the backpack, pulls out the apple he gave her, and the apple is all destroyed. Li Ping pets her, saying, That's not a problem, relax. Seeing the situation, Elizabeth thinks. From the beginning, he had already made this plan. The scenario was already set when he gave the bananas. Amelia is all cute, rubbing against Elizabeth, but she gets mad when she realizes the queen keeps looking at Li Ping. So she asks, Mistress, who's that guy over there, huh? Elizabeth says, Him? He's the hero of legends. I stayed at his house while I was away. Amelia gets even angrier. Hey you, while she thinks, the hero of legends? Did he kidnap my mistress? For 500 years? And it seems he wants to take her heart. I need to end this now, our smiling hero says. My name is Li Ping, nice to meet you. Amelia smiles and has a plan. Now that I've reached the Demon King level, I can reach my mistress. If I join forces with her, we can kill the hero of legends. She already summons the Dragon King's claw and charges, saying, Nice to meet you. It hits him hard in the chest and an explosion occurs. Poor thing is confused. What happened? He shut off her claw, Li Ping says. Oops, sorry, I couldn't react in time. However, Amelia is puzzled. My attack was strong enough to destroy a city and he cancelled it like this. Li Ping reaches out his hand and says, My turn to take initiative. Amelia is sweating, realizing he might be more oppressive than the mistress. Poor thing is there. No, please. He takes her hand, very gently, and says, sorry for messing up your handshake. Now it's clear why Elizabeth is so calm. She has a polite friend like you. Amelia is confused. Handshake? Friend? Elizabeth says. Friend? You could say that too. But actually, she's my mount. Li Ping thinks. Mount? Already imagining one on top of the other running. Elizabeth then snaps her fingers and everyone appears outside. She says enough of this for today. Amelia says, wow, mistress, you're so amazing. Li Ping is also impressed. Wow, is it that easy to return? All I really have to do is stick to Elizabeth's thighs and everything will be fine. However, for Annie, the journey was too long, and she faints on Li Ping's shoulder. Elizabeth tells Li Ping to take Annie to rest because she needs to talk to Amelia about something. And we're back home on the farm. Amelia asks, what do you want, Elizabeth? You can give me any order. I really want to serve you. Elizabeth asks, have you heard of the Black Demon Guild? Amelia ponders, saying she slept most of the time, and then she remembers. It's the guy called Malfoy, the former prince of humanity. Do you remember him? Elizabeth makes an effort and says she might remember. Amelia wants to know, wait, you want him and not me? Elizabeth says it's not that. She heard that this Black Guild is killing people under the pretext of wanting to resurrect her. That's making her angry. Amelia gets angry. Resurrect you when you're alive? That's disrespectful. What do you want me to do? Elizabeth says. You're going to make them disappear from this world without revealing any information about me or this place. Amelia only accepts. Elizabeth then says, when you're done with this, I'll release you. Amelia says that a job given is a job done. And in her interpretation, doing whatever she wants is clinging to Elizabeth all night long. With that, she sets off motivated. But there's a missile heading her way that explodes in the sky. When the smoke clears, she's injured. Who attacked me? Realizing her skin is all scorched, she knows. It must be someone, at least in the sovereignty realm. Down below, Wakai is detecting a target. He raises the defense system to level 2. She's sweating cold. The missile comes, and she defends with her wing. She looks and asks, you chose me to be your opponent? Wrong choice. But when she sees a barrage of missiles coming, the explosion covers the entire sky. Poor thing is all beaten up. Wakai analyzes again. Target detected as alive, increasing defense to 3. At that moment, Elizabeth shouts, stupid dog, she's my person, let her go. The little dog is trembling. Okay, I'll put her on the white list. Poor Amelia leaves thinking, damn place. It's terrifying. I want to get out of here. Inside the house, our hero is cutting oranges, making a delicious juice for Anne. He goes to her and says, if you're feeling unwell, you can have this. She thanks him, takes a sip, and her entire cells begin to restore. Every bit of the fruit contains a huge amount of magical power. She's amazed. Is this sensation some kind of advanced divine magic? She reaches a clear state of mind, and remembers the orphanage fair, like a monster saying, I am you and you are me. Stop suppressing your true self, and is crying there, lost, while Li Ping falls on the couch saying, indeed, a home sofa is the most comfortable. At that moment, Elizabeth enters, passes by her, and says, looks like you finally remembered everything, huh? You know your Jean clan ancestors always swore loyalty to me. If your bloodline woke up, the power of the oath also awakens. At that moment, and can see Elizabeth Giant with her in the palm of her hand. Trembling, she asks, are you the legendary Demon Queen? Elizabeth replies, yes, I am the commander of this whole world, and is confused. But according to the legends, you died with a hero. Brother Li Ping, who are you? Li Ping awkwardly says, I'm ashamed to say. But yes, I'm the hero, and says, now I understand the whole story. It was like this, right? In the past, Li Ping and Elizabeth fought the final battle for the position of the most powerful. As a result of a month of battle, you began to like each other. After so much bloodshed, you gave up this fight to know who is the strongest and fell in love. And then you lived this secluded life for 500 years, Elizabeth says. That's almost the truth indeed. While Li Ping says she got it all wrong. Elizabeth then changes the subject and says, as a descendant of the superior warriors of the demon bloodline, you're in this state? You're a disgrace to the demon clan. Li Ping is confused. Wait, isn't from the demon clan? And is standing there without saying anything. Elizabeth says, it was 600 years ago, right? A child named Jean awakened the demon lineage. When his eyes shone red, his ability power and magical power increased greatly. However, as his power grew, he became more and more violent. Only death could satisfy him. In just a few years, he left the northern territories in chaos. Hundreds of my elite warriors were destroyed by him. His ambition grew so much that he came to the castle to challenge me. Obviously, he was easily defeated, and then she sealed his violent side. And with the loyalty oath, he has been serving her for generations. Trembling and says, I didn't know any of this. My first memory, I was living in the church orphanage. The nun and the brothers were all my family. Elizabeth tells the truth. You killed everyone in the orphanage when you went mad. You couldn't accept reality. So that's why you kept thinking you were waiting for the nun to come back. Elizabeth thinks, with the power Jean has, he could have dominated the world in this time that I've been away. What's going on in that place? And is freaking out, saying, no, I didn't do this to my brothers. Li Ping says, Elizabeth, we met her brothers at the market, didn't we? Elizabeth says enough of that. She opens a visualization portal and says, let's expose the truth and see what these brothers of yours really are. When they look, they're all dolls. In Anne's interpretation, she really saw them as people, but clearly, that wasn't the case. Elizabeth closes the portal and says, do you understand? You're using your magic to sustain this bunch of dolls. That's why you're stuck at the mage level. Li Ping is confused, not believing it either. Elizabeth is cruel and relentless. To get rid of the Black Apostles, you activated your bloodline. However, you went mad and killed everyone. That's the truth you want to avoid. And starts going berserk, Dragon Ball Z style, with a purple aura. To stop this, Elizabeth flicks her forehead, and she faints. Li Ping picks her up, and Elizabeth says, I know you want to help her, but when she wakes up, if she triggers her lineage again, she'll destroy the whole city. But Li Ping says it's okay, he'll try to handle it. Back at the church, and is waking up. She gets out of bed and apologizes for being a nuisance again. Li Ping says it's no big deal. They used Elizabeth's teleportation. But how is she feeling now? And starts crying again, saying she can't believe she caused all those deaths. Li Ping says that's not the case. She was trying to protect everyone. She's not a murderer. However, and doesn't accept that. She says it's all her fault for losing control. But our hero says, it's their fault for attacking and forcing you to lose control. So stop blaming yourself. Plus, there are still missing materials here. But she keeps crying, saying that the fact doesn't change. Li Ping interrupts her, explaining, when you made the dolls, the details were good, but you were so afraid of the cotton coming out that you made excessive knots. Because of the lack of quality, the dolls lost their spirits. But it's okay, I'll help you remake them. And he starts dismantling everything. However, and doesn't like seeing him destroying her brothers, and starts going berserk. At that moment, Li Ping literally drops a line from Shakespeare. Do not wander under the tree, do not question under the rain, and do not cry in the darkness. And then wakes up in the middle of a lake, confused. In the sky, a giant golden hand comes, and Li Ping finishes the sentence. Look forward and never back. As long as you have the courage to face it and keep your head up, you will realize that this mist was nothing but a little rain. The skies shine, and Li Ping picks her up in his palm. At that moment, he made a doll that's an angelic child and says, this is the doll I remade for you, and its name is Raphael, the angelic doll. He hopes that will help her heal, and takes his hand, saying she's sure. It's the same feeling. These are her brothers. She sees all of them around Li Ping, who tells her not to worry anymore. And then they disappear, saying goodbye. And then once again breaks down in tears, saying she will protect the church. And our boy tells her that the sky is clear. He sighs. Phew, thank goodness I studied psychotherapy in those system books. Meanwhile, in the demon realm, in the swamp of death, Amelia is flying around looking for the guy. Seeing everything destroyed, she says it's a shame what they did to her mistress's house. She then lands, and a bunch of creatures appear, saying they want to devour her soul. However, in the blink of an eye, the creatures all explode. She wonders, why are they treating this place like a dump? She moves on, and a chubby baby mage comes out of a book, asking who she is and what she wants with the Black Guild. He's the 6th pillar of the guild, a 5-star demon. Then a room full of eggs incubating some demons appears, and in the guild hall of the Black Guild, there's a meeting going on. The leader says it seems like someone powerful is coming. One of them says that one of the troops was completely destroyed when invading the Saint's Guide. Are they coming to get revenge? A round and chubby girl says it's no problem. Someone named Kurtuza will handle it, while the tentacle guy says whoever it is can't reach them. But the master on the throne says he was afraid he wouldn't get the materials. Who would have thought what he needed would come right to his doorstep? It's Malfoy from the beginning of the work, just 500 years worse off. The chubby wizard with the pacifier who tried to stop Amelia is completely destroyed. He couldn't even react properly. He gets stepped on by the dragon. It's over. A bunch of apostles appear, one of them literally being a girl carrying 6 balloons. They are confident they will kill her. However, she just activates the power of the Golden Dragon King. She lets out a roar that already blows everyone away. With that, she continues walking calmly. She arrives in front of a giant eye that underestimates her once again. She kicks and destroys it, and enters the boss's chamber. She sees Manhwa and says he looks horrible. Poor Manhwa is really finished, but he recognizes her. But in the blink of an eye, he's blown up in his seat. Everyone is frightened and doesn't understand what happened. Obviously, she just made a little dragon arm and squashed him. The finished Manhwa asks, "Why did you wake up from your sleep?" But apparently, he has a reconstitution ability. "Did you happen to find Elizabeth?" She gets confused. Some tentacles come from the ground and wrap everything around her. Of course, those damn Chinese. The tentacle guy tells her, there's no way she can escape. She asks, "Escape? What do you mean?" She bites, and the guy gets scared. She starts swallowing everything like pasta, and it's over. Poor guy for digestion. A mega curvy one comes from behind saying she surrenders. She joined them against her own will. She sends a little kiss that activates a seductive magic. And boy, she is seductive indeed. In front of Amelia, she says that since attacks don't work, she's going to make her a prisoner. However, Amelia burps up the octopus she had eaten and finishes her off. Another one jumps to attack, was finished again. Another one comes to attack, was finished again. Now she's face to face with Manhwa. She asks if he's going to take his own life or face her. Manhwa says he can't face her. However, if he joins what's behind him, then it's different. When she sees, in the incubation cocoon, there's an Elizabeth being produced. A month later, we're on the little farm. Obviously, planting, watering, and harvesting, a peaceful life. Back home, chopping wood, making food, Elizabeth finds it strange. There's something wrong with him. Before bed, Li Ping was getting impatient, and then he decided on something. That morning, he made the breakfast Elizabeth likes the most. She immediately asks, "Stop beating around the bush. I don't like this." "What do you want?" Li Ping says. "After living together this whole year, you know I'm not a threat to you. This proves that the hero and the queen can coexist. I think it's time for you to leave here, Elizabeth, and control the world again." She asks why. He explains that when he hid, he didn't imagine she would appear here. And the biggest problem is that time outside is passing too fast. Because of her absence, the apostles are destroying the whole country. Even this black guild appeared and is making everyone's life difficult. Elizabeth says she doesn't care if it's chaotic. It doesn't affect them. For our protagonist, the system root was end of the world in their fight, then world peace. However, because they became friends, the world is in chaos. He explains to her that he wanted to keep her here because of the destruction of the barrier. If he didn't know what was happening outside, he would continue here without problems. But now that he's seen everything that's happening, he can't stand still. However, he can't be a hero and he also can't save people from this suffering. Elizabeth, somehow, is interpreting this as him saying he can't live without her. She asks, "What do you want then?" Li Ping then says, "I want you to go back to the world and save everything because I'm an incompetent hero, and I can't continue being selfish." In his head, he's thinking, even if this place is destroyed by monsters, it's okay, I'll move to the city. Now Elizabeth's interpretation is explained. In her head, he's being selfish, wanting to have the queen just for himself, and not letting her stay in the world. She finishes the food and asks, "Do you want me to leave this place and solve the world's problems?" "That's easy. Our hero is happy. Seriously, you agree? Then I'll prepare everything now." However, she turns around. "No, I'm not interested in the outside world. But there are 2 ways to solve this." She's thinking, "Bastard, are you looking for an excuse to kick me out of this place?" "I'm not that easy." Li Ping asks, "What are the 2 ways?" She says the first one is simple. She goes outside, uses a magic that destroys the whole world, and done. Li Ping says, "No, not that option." She says the second option is to find someone who can rule the world in her place, and she'll help from behind the scenes. Li Ping wants to know who that person would be. She says, "You already know. Besides me, only you are qualified for that." He sweats. "Wait, you want me to rule the world?" Next scene, he's practicing sword techniques. Confused, how did things end up like this? Beside him, she keeps shouting, "Practice properly. I want to see." He responds, "Okay, okay." But she's just thinking, "Are you trying to play games with this queen? You're too young for that. I can't deny that you're a little stronger than me. However, when it comes to psychology, you don't stand a chance." The queen seems to be falling in love. She's thinking that when he told her to leave this morning, she was so sad she almost did. But then, when he told her he couldn't live without her, she understood everything he was trying to say. He knows very well that with the power of both of them, it would be very easy to destroy or dominate this world. So the best thing to do is to let the world go on as it wants, and occasionally observe what's happening. Since she's already put Amelia in charge of dealing with the Black Guild, there's nothing to worry about. Now she's convinced, saying he's pretending with this little plan, but she's already seen through all his little games. Apparently, the legendary hero has fallen for the queen, while our boy is all confused there, believing in the plan. Thinking, is it true that you can become a sword master by cutting 1,000 times a day? Seems kind of simple. She's imagining, he's the pinnacle of strength, but he likes to take a little beating. Apparently, she's the only one in this world who satisfies this hero's malevolent interests. But now she has a plan. Even though she's not interested in silly things like love, it's different when it comes to him. He has the greatest power of creation and production, and she has the best swordsmanship and magic. Together, they can create the strongest child ever. What would their child be like? Would they break the limits of the existing realm? But she won't agree to that so easily. For now, she'll let him practice his horrible swordsmanship. He has to get stronger for this child in the future. Li Ping is confused. What is this girl thinking so much about? Is she really going to want to teach me swordsmanship and magic to destroy the Black Guild? He's going to make a sword cut, and suddenly she turns into a child who falls to the ground. My sword turned into a child? The sword boy says. Who are you calling a child? I am the spirit of the majestic legendary sword, Alpha. The queen asks what's going on and immediately recognizes Alpha. He moves towards her saying die, but took a kick to the face and was sent to the other side. Sit down, let's talk. Li Ping apologizes. He didn't know the boy was conscious all this time. The boy says that at the critical moment of the fight against the demon and the queen, he appears. However, he wants to know why he's been just chopping wood for so many years, huh? Li Ping tells him to calm down, but the boy doesn't stop and asks, did you change the story script and see her friend? You don't deserve to be the hero. Elizabeth asks, are you trying to kill me? The boy sits there. Actually, no, I don't want to. This system's craziness, you're my savior. She says, okay, whatever, now that you're here, help Li Ping rule the world. Alpha says, hold on, rule the world? Li Ping says, it's more like saving the world. He looks to the side, hey, what are you talking about, Li Ping? Our hero says, I'm tired of sitting around doing nothing. I'm going to take on the responsibility of being a hero, practice, and save the world. Alpha asks, practice? Don't you know your talent? Thinking, he practiced with me 100 times and gained enough experience to fight a demon king. And he even awakened me. It doesn't make any sense. The work explains that when he was cutting down trees, they were the ones gaining experience. Li Ping looks at Alpha and says, I know I don't have much talent, but with you and Elizabeth, I think I can. Alpha is about to say something. What are you talking about, dude? You are. But Elizabeth casts a spell and seals his mouth. She then tells Li Ping to stay there while she has to talk to this little boy. She grabs him with her demonic hand and takes him behind the tree. Smoke rises, and he comes back all beaten up. He then looks at Li Ping and says, alright, I'll cooperate with you, brother. Elizabeth says enough with the delaying. Let's start this already. This city is bustling, with the blondie looking for members for the guild, and the chick selling roasted chicken, a criminal. And our boy is there too. This is the city of Tatano, which is under the influence of the Holy Sword Guild. Elizabeth tells Li Ping that her magical sense is telling her that something large-scale is going to happen in this city, and maybe it's good for him to take a look and gather information. Li Ping says he understands. The first step to ruling the world is gathering intelligence. Alpha says it's nonsense. Going to this place is a waste of time. Elizabeth gives him a stare. Do you want me to break you in half? He sticks to Li Ping. Sorry. Our hero sees a paper on the ground and picks it up. These flyers are everywhere. Could this be the event that's happening? Competition between guilds. Elizabeth says it's a fight where each guild sends its representative. Someone plays a drum telling everyone to place their bets. People are all excited to bet, and Li Ping pulls Elizabeth, who's all modern in this outfit. They head towards the giant arena. However, when they're about to go up, a green bull stops them, saying he couldn't detect their tickets with magic. Li Ping says, Elizabeth, I'll handle this. Li Ping then takes out a bag of coins and says, I saw on the poster that it's 10 coins per ticket. Can we buy them? The big guy says yes, but he monopolized them all and is now selling them for 200 coins. Li Ping thinks the guy is a damn crook. but Elizabeth uses magic on his head, and the guy hands over the VIP ticket. With that, they both go happily. Li Ping is impressed. The place is very luxurious. There are some guys there that you can't see properly. A guy smoking a pipe writing some magic, a dwarf, and 2 hot babes from the Holy Guild. Wow, that's a lot of divinity. The blonde is Luna, and the redhead is Anna. Anna asks if those 2 are on the guest list. Meanwhile, Elizabeth is telling our boy to go get some snacks, but those 2 little saints are just keeping an eye on them. Then someone shouts, "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the final guild competition." He announces it's going to be the sword genius from the Holy Guild, Sheen, the giant bear guild's general, Jayla, the wonderful elf from the elf guild, Travis without Scott, and lastly a special guest from the Holy Guild, representing the card guild, E. It's all going to happen at the same time. The goblin jumps out of the arena. The atmosphere becomes tense. The elf thinks that big guy looks very stupid. He probably won't be of any use. The guy is screaming like a maniac. The card guy seems weak, not to mention he's only here because he helped the Holy Guild. That means in this competition, the biggest danger is the blue sword guy from the Holy Guild. The big guy stomps on him and goes straight for him. The elf pulls out 3 arrows and fires at him. It's 1 for each, but all 3 dodge. But the arrow falls to the ground, turns into a root that transforms into vines and entangles everyone. The big guy gets angry and tries to break free, but it only tightens even more. The elf says this is the gum root. The more force you exert against it, the tighter it gets. The blue sword guy then draws his blade and cuts it all down, while the card guy is just standing there doing nothing. The sword guy apologizes for killing her plant. The elf says it's no problem. He just has to pay with his life, then fires another arrow at the dancing butterfly. But the guy is all monk samurai and says, fearlessly, doubtlessly, without confusion, altruistic state, blue bird, power matches power. But the elf has already lost her little arm, which fell onto the ground shattered. He approaches her, points the blade at her, and says, "You've lost." The elf says he deserves the title of genius, but she is also one. He is then surrounded by exploding butterflies. His blade flies off, and when the smoke clears, he's there, all beaten up but alive. She then takes a seed from her mouth, spits it on the ground. A plant grows, she puts her arm into it, which turns into a new arm. But it's crooked because it was crushed by the buff guy, and it was crushed hard. He then looks back and says it's the samurai's turn, who finds the aura of that guy strange. But in the audience, everyone is going crazy, loving this competition. He throws his arm aside and pulls the blade back into his hand. The buff guy says power is everything, and now he's going to crush. He jumps, activating 70% of his muscular strength. The swordsman dodges, sends him a cut. However, it touches his skin and nothing happens. He comes for another blow with 80%. He tries to defend with the sword and is thrown back, and the sword bends all crooked. He comes again, now at 90%, he dodges several times. Li Ping is curious, asking Elizabeth who she thinks will win. She doesn't say anything, while Anna is finding it strange. How come a sword forged by rank B dwarves was destroyed with a punch? Luna asks if they should stop the fight, but Anna says not for now. Up in the super VIP section, the guy is asking, shouldn't we interrupt this? A guy named Bay says, I think those 2 are handling it, don't you think, boss? The guy says, maybe. He's the president of the card guild, isn't he the girl's father? The boy next to him noticed he's trembling, and thinks it's because the buff guy's magic is from the apostles, that's why he got so angry. But he's scared because he saw our protagonist with his little demon. In his head, Li Ping came here to see how he's using the deck. He has to meet the expectations of the great hero. While down below, the buff guy is just going for it. The blue sword can't do anything but run away. The buff guy grabs the ground and uses it like a sheet. The blue blade jumps to dodge, but he's caught in midair, and falls to the ground in a ball of stone. The buff guy goes to touch the stone, but suddenly he takes a micro cut. When he steps back, it's over, his hand is gone. He gets angry saying he'll kill the blue blade, who repeats the same phrase. Fearless, doubtless, surprised, or confused. Altruistic state. The buff guy thinks of doing something, but is cut from afar, and falls to the ground agonizing. The blue blade tells him, it's your last chance. The buff guy says he doesn't care, he's not going to play with him, already remembering that he can use the forbidden drug. But the blue blade warns, if you give up the power given to you by the Black Guild, I will spare your life. However, he breaks a pill in his mouth to reach the realm of Demon King. But before anything happens, his head is separated, and it rolls towards the card guy who's been standing there in the trap all this time, who is actually the little elf girl our protagonist saved. We then see the card guild and her practicing with the decks. As she's been drinking tea with the herbs our boy gave her before she left, she keeps evolving. Her father comes back from a trip and tells her he helped the Holy Guild deal with the apostles, and for that, he received a gift. She thinks it's that pile of apostle remains in the bag, but it was actually the direct qualification invitation for the finals. If she wins, the card guild will be recognized as an official guild. She feels insecure. She can't compete with those geniuses, but he says none of that matters. She has to be more confident. They've evolved a lot. They're not the same as before. When the time comes, he'll give her Li Ping's deck, and with that, she'll win. Amidst the vines, she's pondering. Even though I have Li Ping's deck, with my current strength, I can only use 6 cards at once. The rest of the battle, I'll have to rely on card replicas, which will significantly weaken the power of my attacks. However, I can't retreat here. Determination is the most important. Reaching for her belt, she grabs the deck card cut, easily freeing herself from the vines. That devilish head seems alive. The blue blade speaks. It was a good strategy to hide and only reveal your power in the end. But you're not an opponent for me, so just admit defeat. She sends some cards his way and he dodges, saying, "Wow, the guild owes you a favor. I don't want to hurt you. It's the last warning." Everyone is confused. Fighting with cards? She then sends a flying sword from poker. The blue blade says, "I know these are fake attacks to use something more powerful on me, but I won't give you a chance." Already ready to strike at her. She's scared that he caught on to the plan so quickly, but she takes a step back and steps on a card, sending her flying. And from above, she sends another barrage of cards, but the blue blade jumps and manages to dodge. She sends some circles of cards this time, and once again, he defends himself. But the cards surround the sword and his body weakening the key. The blue blade says to her, "This is foolishness. If you force me to get serious, you'll die." She says she was just trying to buy time to complete the final attack, raises her hands with a bunch of cards and says, "Release," creating a gigantic dragon of spades. Everyone is now interested. The dwarf is curious to know who made these cards. They have various effects. The foolish Li Ping in the audience is impressed. Wow, are they fighting with cards? How do they even do that? The blue blade once again activates the altruistic state to the maximum level, sends a blue bird towards the dragon. The two collide in the middle of the arena and an explosion occurs. The cards are all destroyed and fall to the ground. She's thinking he's too strong. There's no way to win with just replicas. But she's afraid to use the real deck because she can't control it. The blue blade goes for the kill, blaming her for making him have to give his all, sends a slash towards the cards, and she's already defeated on the ground. He says it's over. She says it's okay, she lost. There's no point in going beyond this. But on the blue blade's back, something is coming towards him and enters his head. His eye turns purple, and he seems to be taken over by the head of that creature that had been severed, which now has taken over his body. The great apostle says the body is very good. How do you use this key sword thing? Already attacking everyone in the city. Luckily, there's a barrier. Otherwise, the public would have died. Li Ping asks Elizabeth what we should do. Should we help them? Elizabeth says no. For him to dominate the world, he'll have to adapt and get used to these small changes. That's nothing. Much bigger things happen. He says it's okay. The poor father is thinking, damn, they knew we were going to be invaded. That's why they came to see. I need to have a good performance to satisfy Mr. Li Ping and the queen. The old man next to him is thinking, if you go to save your daughter, you'll prove that you don't have enough fighters to deal with the Black Guild. And when the Holy Sword is looking for other people, you'll come to us. The devil is in the blue blade's brain, and our elf is angrier than ever. She hates the Black Guild. And if that's the case, she doesn't need to worry. Activating the new deck. The apostle is confused. What's this? Her magical power has increased too much. I need to kill her instantly. He sends an attack her way, but a knight with a shield appears to defend her. Li Ping finds it strange. That looks somewhat familiar, doesn't it? The dwarf and the analyst are confused. Hold on. This is much more incredible than the previous deck. If I'm not mistaken, this is a ghost of the 13 sacred knights. The old man then says, Boss, is this the trick you used to defeat the 6 demon pillars? The father says, I used the number 9 before. She's only using 5 now. I just hope it's enough. She sends some cards, telling the creature to let go of that body. But he dodges, wondering, damn, how does she have so much strength in those cards? He jumps to evade, thinking he'll escape. But he hits the shield of a knight, who then sends him to another, and another. They bounce the demon around. He manages to use a blade strike to stop in midair, but the shield knight comes from behind and encloses him in a box. She then orders them to crush him. The 4 knights come from each side, focusing all the pressure on the apostle, who shrinks down, destroyed. He falls hard to the ground. At that moment, Li Ping points at you. Leaving a like on this video, my brother, don't want to miss the next part. Activate the bell icon and help the algorithm with that like. Thank you very much for watching. See you later, brother.